What are the keys to practicing your 4-stroke Rasgueo to get it nice, crisp, clean, and even? Today we'll look at that in this video. Today I came across a short by Jose Andres Cortes for Casa Source Guitars, and in it he's playing this 4-stroke Rasgueo and looping it, and it's crisp and clean, it's inspirational. Nice. I wanted to practice mine to sound that way, and I'm going to bring you along with me, and by the end of this, we'll see all the secrets behind it. So first, to define what is the 4-stroke, that's where we have A, M, I, and I returning. That's our 4-stroke, and that would be a single pass through the pattern or a single loop. So we'll start by breaking this down into smaller bits and looking at the right hand only. So we're going to mute the left hand, and when we look at the pattern, there are a couple things that we need to do in order to loop this successfully. What you want to be aware of when you're practicing is that you have a nice circular motion, so that what that means is that as your later fingers come out to strike, the previous fingers curl back in. So it's this sort of a motion. Okay? Now in all the examples, there are two ways that I want you to practice this. The thumb will be resting, and keep it further back towards the bridge. That gives us a better percussive sound than if we're over the sound hole. It'll give us more definition. Thumb gives us the stability. And the two ways to approach it with the fingers, one is where they're coming out from the palm, like that. And then the other one is where they're coming out from the thumb. And in that case, we bend this knuckle and we use that to capture the fingers, build up a little bit of kinetic energy, and then snap them out. Okay? Nice and percussive. And then as soon as we're done, we're going to flip that knuckle back like this. So it looks like that sort of a thing. And then, of course, the other thing that we want to be aware of is the evenness rhythmically. And I'm not so worried just yet about the evenness in the striking. First, let's get the evenness rhythmically. So beating out 3 at 90. There's just a single. But the way you want to practice the single is you want to bring it back around to the second loop. So on 1, just to there. And now we'll bring the loop around and do 2. Okay, like that. And you notice also we're starting on, this would be 12, 1. We're going to start on the 1. Okay, like that. Keeping it nice and even. Now sometimes I find that if I'm cold or haven't done the technique in a while, that it's not even. And so what I like to do in that case, two things. First of all, I'm going to frame the technique tempo-wise. So I'm going to practice it slowly and try to work on the reset, try to get it even. But I'm also going to try to work on the relaxation aspect of it and the reset faster by playing it above the tempo that I'm going to need it. So I call that framing, where you're below, not only below, but above as well. A lot of people just do the below. So that would look like, for example, on the slow, of course, isolating the technique, isolating the hand. But then when I'm doing fast, I'm just going to do something like that. And what I'm focusing on there, I'm backing the volume off. And of course, I'm listening for the evenness of the strokes, but really what I'm doing is trying to feel the relaxation, feel that there's no tension in my arm, in my fingers. So I'm really backing the volume off, just trying to be as relaxed as possible, and trying to tap into the instincts of my body. So your body, often when you practice slow, you're doing these very conscious movements. When you practice fast like that, sort of above your natural abilities, perhaps, you're really relying on the body to figure it out subconsciously. And I find that's very useful. So if you're struggling, you might try this. Doesn't work for everybody. And so you do it sort of backwards. You go from above tempo and then start to slow it down. Again, trying to keep that relaxation, but now also trying to keep that evenness between the strokes. So I find that a useful approach as well. Now when we add the left hand, there are a few concerns there. In this example, specific example, we're playing the top 4 strings. So we have a choice now to try to keep that nice and clean. One, we can rest our thumb on string 6. That brings a couple challenges. One is that you might get the string 5 in there and you don't want it. So to clean that up, just let your your finger 2 on the left hand ride up a little high. So it's going to just push up a little bit on string 4, but pushing up just so it touches string 5. And then you can hear, there's our string 5. It's muted. So no matter which way I approach it, I'm still not going to hear it. I like doing it that way because the benefit of resting your thumb on string 6 is that you tend to focus your strokes more on the bass notes of the chord as opposed to the trebles. And if you were to solve that string 5 dilemma by resting your thumb on string 5, then you end up really focusing your strokes more on the trebles. And it can sound a little thin. Now, of course, depends on the situation, depends what you're going after. In this case for me, I'm going to rest the thumb on string 6, but just remember those options to clean it up. Now let's try a pattern we can practice. Beating out 3s at 1:15. We're going to start on what is 12-1. So we're going to start on the 1. So you count this 12-1. 12. There's your pattern. Giving it a bar in between to just sort of collect your thoughts, relax your hands, not get fatigued. And focusing on the subdivisions, making sure that they're nice and even, and the volume between the strokes as well. Now the same thing, beating out 3s at 1:15. From the palm. I hope that lesson proves beneficial and you can work that Rasgueo into your hands more comfortably. Now, if you'd like to learn the example that opens this video, it's available as a free extended lesson on my Patreon, De Oro Guitar Academy. Or if you'd like to support the creation of more videos like this, consider buying some sheet music or some of my books on deoromusic.com. Thanks, and hope to see you in the next one.